information before he got to the meeting. So this is good. Anyway, Jerry has not only been a supervisor, but we're now in the Assembly, and he has introduced numerous bills to the California State Legislature in the year and 2 months that he's held office. People say, well, how can you be so busy? I think it's because he's dedicated, committed, and highly intelligent. And he has recently introduced legislation making it more difficult for repeat DUI, that's driving under the influence offenders, to get their licenses back. In 2008, over 1,000 people were killed by drunk drivers in California, and another 28,000 were injured. And our Assemblyman is trying to do something about those people who are on the road driving while intoxicated. Chairing the Health and Human Services Budget Subcommittee and the Select Committee on Biotechnology, Jerry has tackled some of the most pressing issues facing California, including health care and economic development. Hill is also a member of the Budget Government Organization, Natural Resources, Public Safety, and Joint Legislative Budget Committees. In his first session as a member of the Assembly, 10 of his bills were passed by the legislature, including measures that address health care, highway safety, and the environment. He was recently named to the Joint Select Committee on Reform. He has fought to preserve thousands of acres of parks, open space, and coastal areas of San Mateo County, while working to set tough limits on air pollution and global warming emissions. Prior to his election to the Assembly, Jerry served 17 years in local government, first as a member of the San Mateo City Council, and for 10 years as a San Mateo County supervisor. As a supervisor, Hill led the effort to expand health insurance coverage to every child in San Mateo County without raising taxes. And I want to really...
You're finished.
Jerry Hill says Arietta's finished. Okay. Since I'm writing the report, it's not going in the papers. But I want to say, no, I'm not going to be finished. I am going to overcome something here. I just want to say that Jerry Hill is, he's a member of so many different boards, but truly he is a great worker, and he's currently a business owner, and he and his wife, Sky, reside in San Mateo. So be it.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Barbara, for that. I appreciate that. Wonderful introduction. God, yes. The sad part about today is that the topic is the state of the state. Can we pick another topic? There's got to be something else we can talk about today. Let's talk about schools and Pacifica. But I want to just congratulate her in the great efforts. There are a number of school districts, obviously, in this district, and I think there's 16. But the Pacifica School District and the volunteers are so dedicated. They are really the only ones, well, there's been one other, but the only ones consistently that will be in my office, will be in Sacramento, be in the office in San Mateo, be on the phone, advocating, discussing, making sure that the legislature is aware of the issues that they're struggling with every day in the classroom and on the fields and the infrastructure of the school. So, I mean, really is, and thank you very much. Well, I've been in Sacramento for about 12, 13 months now, and it's been an interesting experience. It's been interesting in a number of ways. And I've got to tell you the first thing, and some of you have heard this, but there are a couple of landmines that I've determined that, when I got there, you have to be careful for what's there, that you may kind of run into them. And it's a little difficult. So the two landmines that I really noticed, and one took a little longer to figure it out, but that is the first one. When you drive into the Capitol, you go into this, there are two entrances, and there's a kiosk with a highway patrolman inside, and then there's an arm that comes up and goes down that you go through. Well, if there's a sign that says only one car at a time when the arm comes up. So we said, but why? So if the arm comes up, a couple cars can go through. Well, the problem is, if the second car goes through and the arm doesn't come up, the second car gets blown up, actually. There's something in the ground that comes out on the ground and destroys the second car because you're not supposed to do that. So that's the first landmine, and that truly is. The second landmine I learned a little later in the game, and that was the fact that when you're in a committee hearing, you make sure the microphone is turned off. let you know a couple of things about what is going on in Sacramento, and the biggest challenge we're faced with today is the budget. And as you know, when I got there a year ago, we had about a $26 billion budget shortfall, and we spent a lot of time over the next few months trying to balance that budget by many different ways, many different methods, and we were finally able to get enough votes, and we were able to get 3 Republican votes, which is necessary because it gets back to John's great initiative effort to get to a majority vote in California for the budget and to raising revenues, because it's ridiculous when we're compared to Arkansas and Rhode Island as the other 2 states that have those 2 other challenges to overcome. So you're not going to get 2/3 vote to do that. And that's what we're faced with. We were able to balance it by getting the few votes. But just to give you an idea of the partisanship in Sacramento, there were 3 Republicans who voted for the budget last year. 3 Republicans. 2 of them are termed out this last year. That was fine. The 3rd one, Anthony Adams from Cambria, Southern California. Anthony voted for the budget, has 1 more term to go, and that's just he's up for re-election this year. Immediately after he voted for that budget, there was a recall effort started in his district. They started collecting signatures. They didn't get enough signatures. They kind of did a lousy job of doing it. But in the end, they won. Because he's not running now, again, for re-election. Very capable, bright guy. He's not running because the challenges that are there, because of the Tea Party influence and that very conservative push that he's faced with, he's not running. Because he knows he can't win in the primary in June. So we lost him, a man who had the courage to vote for the budget.